Hey everyone, I'm Skytrius, and today I want to announce the official alpha of Todool is now out on my Discord channel. So in the description you can join my Discord channel, and there will be download links for Windows and Linux. And yeah, then you can give it a try. If you don't know, Todool is going to be a commercial project, so this is just alpha testing to see what people say. If there's anything wrong with it, I can fix all the bugs. So yeah, and this video is mostly for people who may not want to try out themselves and just want to kind of take a look at what Todool can do for them. If you haven't seen the development of it, it's essentially a specialized to-do project in which you can do some funky stuff like writing lists and such in a reasonable way. And then you can do multi-line based actions. You can switch between kind of representations of the data, and then some other advanced stuff as well. So yeah. So I would suggest this video if you want to give Todool a try, but maybe don't want to be spoiled by the tutorial, then don't watch this video. I do have a Patreon that you can support me on, as I do not earn any money right now, so this would be a good way of helping me out. And I also have a Todool license, kind of, right? So if you support me at any tier, I'm just gonna have to write down your name or something, so that once Todool comes out, you'll get a free license, right? So you don't have to pay for it anymore. So this is a way to help me out. But yeah, let's just get into the demo. We're just gonna run it in this small window frame mode for the list mode, and then later on we can get into some other stuff as well. So this is the way Todool comes up. So welcome, thanks for alpha testing Todool. If you have any issues, please post them on the Discord. Tutorial shortcut explanations are based on the default key bindings. Keep that in mind, right? So anything that you change later on, obviously is not going to be represented by this tutorial anymore. Visuals. I changed some stuff around already. So when a command is badly executed, it will animate the cursor, right? So if I move in this word, you'll see if I go too far to the right, it will show me that I cannot move any further. So that means the command failed. And if a command fails, it will try to run any other key binding that may be bound to that key shortcut. And if that fails, it will also fail. So that means I can move up and down, and then you're restricted by the boundary here, by the hierarchy of the list. So you cannot move from this child up to the parent. Right? With the mouse, you can obviously select what you want, but you cannot move up this way. Also, this animation will also show up if you do anything wrong in these kind of small windows, any pop-up. So let's just go over the keyboard movement. So text box behavior is essentially the same as normal text editors. Besides, movement like this is all the same, but multi-line selections are not a thing, right? So this is not a thing, but you can have selections inside of a single word and do copy paste and such, just as normal, or select everything and such. Movement up and down will always lead to the line end of the text, or each textual line. That's mostly because we don't use the monospace font, so it's very hard doing proper jumping from one glyph to another, right? Or it's not hard, it's just kind of stupid. And then moving up to the parent will also be always a little weird because you have the indentation space. So I just decided to always move to the line end. So yeah, up and down moves from one task to another. Control up and down, or down in this case, moves from the parent to the first child here that has this arrow. So this is your way of escaping tasks essentially. So if you move up with control up, you will actually move this arrow, which will be the point that you last left in the parent, right? So this is a quick way to get from one point to another and actually remember that place. So that's pretty cool. So up and down, that's up and down. And these arrows are actually very important because here you can actually jump from one arrow to another at the same indentation level. So we will be able to jump from this arrow to this, like that, with the control comma and control dot. So I can move forward and backward. This is very helpful in the second mode, in here, where the instead of the arrow, you will have this black outline. And now we can jump from one Kanban to the other, like this. So that's super helpful. All right, and then the next big thing is actually how do you insert a new task. It's just press enter. And yeah, that will enter new children. And you'll see if there's an empty child with no text, it will have this kind of box just to notify you that there is an empty string, because otherwise it's just blank, right? And also it's a way that you can actually click on the thing. So yeah, that's the way you do enter new siblings. And then if you have seen, I can actually delete lines when I just backspace. If there's no text, I can just backspace to remove the task. Same with delete. No, that doesn't work. Okay, good. And then, so return enters a new sibling, and you'll see it will append to the end of the list just because it's more memory efficient appending to a list, because it's such a common operation. I could probably make this optional in case you don't really care. I guess it would be better. I'll have to think about it, but control enter essentially does the same thing, but it actually creates a new child. So in here, A, B, C. And you can do this on the parent still, and you will always go to the end. Right? So even if it already has children, you can append this way. So that's pretty cool. Maybe one thing you also see is that if a task has a child, it will also be bolded. So just as a way to distinguish if a task has children or not. I think it's visually just, it definitely clears up a few things. So yeah, that's the main movement already. There's not really much more other than the shifting. So you can shift tasks up and down in Todool, and this is restricted by task state, by the task state. So you maybe have seen I can change task states like this. So I have 2 task states that are done and 2 tasks that are not done or cancelled. And then we can do these shift commands like you would imagine, right? So Alt up and down to shift up and down. But this is restricted by the task state because these are still in the old memory layout, right? But they just have a different state, so they're sorted differently, because anything in Todool is automatically sorted by state. So yeah, you can still shift inside of this. inside of the same task state. So if everything is cancelled, you can still move around in it. And the same for the done text. So keep that in mind. Then you can also do shift task left and right. So shifting a task to the right will kind of be a child insertion in a way. And then you can go out and do that again. It will basically append to the end of the parent like that. And you can do the same. You can escape a parent like that, and it will append to the last parent again, just because it's more memory efficient. Instead of having this move next to the keyboard movement, where it's usually at, it would move to the last location. All right, so that's shifting left and right. So that's about it. So we got the welcome visuals and the keyboard movement done. Oh, by the way, this moving from one indentation to another indentation only works with visible things. So if I do this, you see I cannot jump to any arrow that exists in here because it's not visible right now. Yeah, let's see. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. So let's get into the mouse movement, which I just added this week. So you maybe have seen the multi-selection, we'll get into that, but shift mouse selection, or the replacement for having multi-line selections in Todool, is essentially having being able to select multiple lines like this. You see this kind of each task or each line is now selected, right? In the camera mode, it's shown in this way as the outline. And now I can do the multi-line or multi-selection based commands on each of these. Otherwise, if you have nothing selected, each of these multi-selection based commands are just going to do the action on that one line. So I can say, I can select these. Oh, I should probably add that to the keyboard selection, to the keyboard mouse movement. Fuck, I'm stumbling over my words here. So with all these keyboard movements, you can always hit or hold the shift key down. So if I move up and down with the shift key held down, you'll see I'll actually select all these lines. And that works even if you do jump to the parent, for example. Right. And that also works if you jump from one space to another like this, from one indentation. Also, the indentation jump is based on the actual level, so you'll only jump from one level here. So this is the second indentation level, so you'll only jump from here to other ones based on this level. Same as this, you'll now jump from the first level. So yeah. But now the mouse movement that I actually wanted to explain, if you hold down the shift key and move the mouse, you'll see you'll enter the selecting state. And now you see each line has this kind of fade in, fade out selection. And now if I actually press the mouse button or hold it down, I'll be able to select one task. So instead of using the keyboard, you can also select via the mouse, which is kind of the goal here. In case you have, you don't always want to use the keyboard. So now I can selectively say I want to choose these three things, and then I can do whatever command I want. Right. So again, hold the shift key down, move the mouse, then you'll enter the state. And then you can do left mouse to toggle task, right? So you can remove it from the multi-selection, or you can enter it. right? And this also works. This is kind of working based on since when do you hold the key down or the mouse button. So you'll actually unselect things and then select things until you actually release the mouse button. All right. And then also right click resets the selection in case you messed up. So that's pretty cool. That's a shift mouse selection. So we got that done. What you can actually do with it is mentioned below. So maybe I should shift those around for the final tutorial. So Alt mouse click is a way to drag a task. So similar to the way you can shift tasks around, you can also drag tasks around. So again, press Alt and then click, and then you'll see a highlight to where the task will be inserted next to. So you can see if I go over, my mouse is now hovering this one, so it will be inserted below, right? So the text box behavior that I clicked initially is now going to be inserted there. So the same here, this will be placed at the same indentation level as the one that we are currently on. So not in the children. I actually have to hover the children to insert inside of the children of this task, right? So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so you can give this a try. I just did the visuals for this. It's not completely done, but I think this is definitely a nice way to show kind of logically where the task would end up in. Right, so also another feature is you can actually drag this out. So if you are out of the window, it will not be, or it will be removed, right? So you can see the trash can hovers or gets created, or you hover over the trash can area and then it will be removed. So this way you can easily remove a lot of lines like that. So yeah, new insertion place will be highlighted, drag outside of the window to remove, drag to the trash bin area to remove. This also works in the Kanban mode, but it's not, it doesn't work. Oh yeah, you see the issue here. It's kind of messing up a little bit. I still have this compiled, but usually it's just I have it disabled and it will just show up as a visual. So that's a mouse move, and so there's no right-click menus or anything, just Shift and Alt clicking, besides the UI buttons and such. All right, just took a drink, spilled over a little bit, nice. All right, so let's just go over the multi-selection stuff before we go over the modes and some of the UI. So I think this is kind of the best thing about Todool almost, right? You can multi-select tasks and then do multiple actions like Control Delete. So that deletes all these lines that I had selected. And then undo redo works as expected as well on all of these actions. The most important one probably is the toggling the state. That's Control Q. You just shift through all the available states. So done, cancelled, and then back to the normal state. And then that also works on the multi-line selection. So that's pretty cool. Then you also see we can fold tasks. There's a command for this as well, Control J. So I could theoretically select all the tasks and then do Control J to fold them all or unfold them. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So that command that I just did is Control Shift A to, oh, that's pretty funny. Control Shift A to hover or to select everything. So yeah, then we have tags in Todool. So these get appended to the right of each line, as you can see the shift selections on the left, or any information will be on the left for each line, because that information it's actually very important, or it's just easier to read this way. And then tags are the only thing that are on the right, or UI elements are on the right, just because they get pretty obscure once you have long lines and you cannot see the tags anymore. So yeah, it's kind of a a trade-off, but essentially you can insert these tags. Some these are placeholder names, but you can enter this tags editing mode to actually edit the way these are called. So this is test. Then I can do Control-4 to actually insert test, which is the fourth element. And you only have 8 elements because this is a bit set. So yeah. Very easy way to insert a lot of tags. And this also works on the multi-line. So that's pretty cool. And this works in a bit set manner. So if you remove one from here, it will be inserted into the other ones. Like that. Okay, so the next concept is state per line is on the left. So you can see Control-R is for toggling whether or not you want to record time on this task. So this is just a Boolean, right? So whether or not you want to record time or not. And then once we get into these timers, you can actually record time. And then the time will show up on this left side. So I can say I want to record time for these 3 tasks and this one. Or I can unselect this and then record time. Do some work, and then I can press this button again. And then we will have 4 seconds recorded. And that's it. And then we can remove these. Or, you can use these command shortcuts. So that's toggling time. We have some other timers. We'll get into those later. And then the next thing is we have Control-B to toggle bookmarks. So bookmarks, in a way, are just a way to jump from one location to another that you think is important. And that works with the tab or shift tab. So if I press tab now, I can jump from one to the other region where the bookmark is. Or shift tab to go in reverse. And again, if this is not shown, right? So if the bookmark is not there, you just jump from one to the other. And if it's visible, again, we can jump from one bookmark to the visible one. Also, if there's no bookmarks currently visible, they will not be displayed, right? So once one of these bookmarks become visible, or any state on the left, it will become visible. And everything will shift to the right. All right. So that's multi-select all. And then there's also a few prompts in here. So you can enter a date or a time, or this is the way I manage dates or setting dates, right? So I can say, I want to do this task today. I want to do this task tomorrow, right? So the 28th, 5th, right? And it will be inserted on the left. You can remove it if you want. But that's a way you insert dates in Todool, right? And this also works for multi-line. And then you can go into the third mode, which is the agenda mode, to see a calendar view of each month. And then you can see on the 27th, I have 3 tasks planned. And then on the 28th, which is Saturday, I have this task planned, right? The 28th is here. Then I can click on this one, and I can actually move around on the left and I get a preview and a progress bar of what I still need to do. I can even shift the states in here, or move the states, or kind of finish things even in here, and these will be reflected on here. So I have finished everything, 3 are finished, everything is done in here, and I could remove each of these so they don't even show up anymore. And yeah, that's the way you would do things with time and dates. All right. And then the toggle prompt also has a way to shift between the states. It's just tab. Hitting through tab will show you the current command that you can write, or you can also write the date yourself, like this, right? Or 23, whatever. Seems like it's a little bit wrong. That's probably some oddities in the time package, I guess. That seems completely wrong. Anyway, I think most people will just use the week, month, and maybe next year. So yeah, and then maybe the last thing that's a bit unique now is we can also toggle colors. So each line can have a color like this. So I can multi-select each line and then press Control Space to toggle color. And this color will also be shown in this mode or in this mode, in the agenda mode, like that. So a non-colored task is not going to show up a color, just so that you can, if you want to, you can color tasks based on whatever color you want. Right, and that works with the color prompt. So the current or the standard color is green. And yeah, I can change this color, but you see it doesn't actually change live, right? I would have to press Control Space again. And if the color is the same currently, and I press Control Space again, you actually remove the color, right? So that way you can multi-select multiple colors, and then press Control Space. You can change the color, press Control Space again if you're happy. Or there's this apply button, which does live applying. So I can just change this color whenever I want. Maybe I can go into this mode, and then I can change the color as well. But applying also means if you move around, it will apply to every task. So maybe you don't always want this, right? So you can turn it off and it won't happen anymore. But, you know, in case you do want to apply it live, you can do that. So that's colors in Todool. In case you want to, you know, highlight these. Right, so that's pretty cool. Let's get into timers again. So you see I can multi-select lines and press record. And then I can do these timers, right? So we have the stopwatch, the timer, and the Pomodoro timer. So the stopwatch just counts upwards, and then you can click it again to get the, you know, accumulated time. And then, you know, now it runs for 3 seconds. So yeah, 2 seconds. All right. And the same for the timer. So the timer just runs downwards. And then the timer actually is also editable like this. So you can set it. It's a little bit weird, but essentially you just drag it up and down. And then, yeah, like that. And then it just counts downwards. So these also have shortcuts. So Control-1 to trigger the stopwatch, Control-2 to stop the timer, or just toggle between their states. And you see I can increase these counters. All right, and then Pomodoro timer is a little bit special. as this automatically or not automatically shifts to these different times here. So work, short break, long break, and the work time again. And if auto is on, it will hopefully auto jump to the next queued up thing. So I think usually it's work, short break, work, short break, work, short break, work, and then long break, right? Usually. And these times are also customizable, and they should also be saved. Unless you stop in between, then I think they're also saved. So yeah, these are more kind of made to run once and then stop. Okay, so that's timers, and then I've shown you the modes before. Let's go into the modes. These also show the information, by the way. So if I have a bookmark in here, this will also be displayed in the Kanban mode. So yeah, let's just go over the Kanban mode in case you have never seen one. It's essentially the traditional to-do list in a left to right manner, but it shows less information, right? So we can see these are bolded, so they actually have children, right? So they are visible in the list mode because you cannot go to this level when viewing the Kanban mode, right? So you know it has children, but you cannot see them. So in the Kanban mode, you just see everything from left to right, and you can move the Kanbans left to right like that. And you also get a progress bar on top. So if you change the state, you'll see 3 tasks are done. And now everything is not done. And yeah, that's Kanban mode essentially. It's just a different way to look at the data. And it also has line breaks. So here you'll see. So this enforces a little bit that you don't have too many words, right? Because you don't want it to be too cluttered. So yeah, and like I said, the control comma and control dot movement is very helpful in here. And yeah, you can jump from one representation here with Alt-Q, you can jump to the list mode, and Alt-W, you can jump to the Kanban mode. Or you press this little button on here, you see it changed every time. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then back to 1. And if there will be more modes, then, there will be multiple ones. Yeah, but we have also seen that the list mode has a few special things that it can do. So it has a search mode, so I can search for control, and I can actually jump from one place to another with Control N. Or it kind of works the way it works in editors usually. So F3 works the same, Shift F3, kind of the usual bindings. And then if you have anything selected, it will automatically insert that into the search bar. And the search only works on currently visible things, so also keep that in mind. And then there is also the go to, in case you quickly want to jump to line 100 or to anything visible right now. So you'll see if a line is folded currently, it will not count as children to this. So I can quickly move to line 50 or 59 or to whatever line you want. Right, so that's go to, and obviously doesn't work in here because there's no linear top-down view of this. Control T is to edit tags. It also works in here, but it doesn't make too much sense since tags are not shown in here. Right, they are visible in here, but not visible in here. Just because it's too much information. And then the date prompt, as I've shown again, if it's empty, it removes the date. Yeah. All right, so Kanban mode again just mentions the control, comma, and dot behavior. And the agenda mode, as I've shown before, is just a way to, again, say, hey, I have 2 tasks that I want to finish today. I can go to the agenda mode, and now I can move around with WASD in the calendar, or up and down. We'll move on the left side to mark things on and off. Okay, that's a bug. Nice. But yeah, that's essentially it, the way you would work in Todool. And maybe now it also makes sense for the Kanban mode to go to full screen. I forgot about that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is about everything that Todool kind of does, essentially. We can go over some of the UI now. So like I said, bottom left will be the timers and buttons for all of those. On the bottom right, we also have the volume, since these do make sounds. So you see global volume, in case you don't want to hear these. And also we have the opacity of the window, in case you want to work with this, or you want to work with a bordered window like this. Very aesthetically pleasing, maybe, in case you like that. The colors window, in case you want to do multicoloring like this, or this will also be used if there are any color settings. So you've seen the tags have colors. We can actually change their color when hovering over the little red color. We can change this color like that. So this color menu has a few uses in Todool. Keep in mind that the text color will always be the background color, right? So you want to be a little bit aware of that. And yeah, we can change each color here. And like I said, if apply is on and you kind of move around from one tag to another, you can actually apply these. So I could move from one color and I could move down, and then I can select the next upcoming hue like that. And then we have a hue wheel, right? So that's kind of the idea with apply, and in case you don't have this apply on, it will not, oh, what's that? Okay, that's a bug. I gotta fix that. Yeah, but the color selection also works in here, so you can change the background color like this. In this default theme, it's just white. But, this is incentivized. If you do, you should change the theme to whatever you like. We could change it to this background color or whatever, just to be aesthetically pleasing. Or anything will be described on the left. So the background color, the cursor color is in red right now. We can change it to green or dark blue. Then the line highlight, we can change that to black with a higher alpha or red. In case you couldn't see the line highlight, it's also in here. You can load back the default if there is anything loaded or anything saved. Then there's also the selection highlight, like that. With alpha again, always watch out if something has alpha or not. The shadow of the window panels. This cannot have alpha, so this is just ignored. So if you want to do a red theme, you could do it. you know, or like a white, red, text color, and you get the deal, right? And then you can save or load the theme. In my case, I've not saved any theme, so there's nothing to load. But we can load this as a default, change something, and load back. Or we can go back to the default. All right, so for these buttons here that have multiple states, you can also press right-click to go backwards, right? So I can move from 1 to 2, and then right-click will actually go back to 1. So that's the same in here. So text always comes first, then the theme, then options, and we can move back and forth. All right, so options in Todool is a window. By the way, all of these, if we press save once, all of these will be saved into the, on Windows, to the app data folder, on Skytrius, Todool, and here you will see all these. The options is an options JSON file, and we can open this with Sublime, and here's the literal presentation of this, or representation. But you will see some things are not shown, like the font size. You'll actually have to go in and change it in here because it's kind of broken right now. So yeah, some things are hidden away. So anyway, and if you hover over some of these, they will explain the left what this would actually do. So tab is the tab width. We can slide this around in case you like more tabulation like this. You could do it, right? So I know some people like this just for the visual clarity. I personally like it smaller like this. And lerp speed or animation speed. A lot of things use animation, so some things are affected by this, some others are not. When they have certain animations based on strict times, right? So this movement is based on lerping, as you can see. But yeah, usually a higher rate is better. Yeah, then some other things we have here. Uppercase on you. Uppercase parent text on child insertion. I used to do this automatically, but if we write some text like a shopping list, oftentimes you want the first words to be uppercased like this, right? Or the way I've done it in here. And if you have this on, it will automatically do this for you. So you see I've turned it on now to true. And if I press Control Enter now, it will automatically do this for us. Only on Control Enter though. It's not going to do this on ABC. If we shift this to the right, it will not do that. Only on Control Enter. And then if we undo, it's also going to undo that the uppercasing automatically. So I think that's pretty cool for people who like this kind of stuff, but it kind of breaks down once you have words that you don't really want, like this, to enable. It's going to do every one after a white space or the first character. But certainly cool. Can show empty. So one thing I didn't show is you can actually insert things in here, right? Or with the add button. But tasks in here, if they are inserted at the end, is like I said, but they will actually not show up like this, right? So I press enter and they will not show up, right? But that's mostly because it doesn't make sense to show cards or Canon cards without children, right? But you can turn this on to see each one that we just created. So I could create multiple ones in here. But yeah, just in case you want to see the empty ones. Show tags. So in case you don't want to see the tags anymore, in case they are all over the place, you can just turn them on or off. They will still remain in the data though. So this is just if you want to render them or not. Pomodoro Autostart is the same button. And this will just automatically start the next timer and the next iteration. Autosave periodically on exit. On default, I have it turned off. I should probably turn this on. Yeah, so this will just automatically save, I think, every 5 minutes or so, or every, I don't know, every minute maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, every time you also close a program, it's gonna do that. So that's autosave. Then show duration spent in case you do not want to see the time that was recorded, like this. You can turn it on or off. Or in case you want to see less data, so if we have these timers running, you can also switch between how much information you want to show. So I have hours, minutes, and seconds shown right now, and I can switch to hours and minutes only. So if I go back to this mode and we have almost a minute, you will see what I mean. So we have a minute and 2 seconds now. I can switch to hours and minutes only, and now it doesn't show the seconds anymore. Yeah, and then minutes only in case you care about that. All right, then there's also show top bar in case you do not want these, and the show status bar in case you do not want that. It is pretty helpful for the colors menu though. But again, most of these will pop up anyway. And in case you, I can't quite remember the command. No, anyway. But there is a command to toggle the options menu in case you leave this top bar and you cannot get back to it. And then there's also showcode compression, whether you want strings to be compressed or not. Oh, that's a funny bug. How did that happen? What the hell? Oh, that's the timing. You see that? It's offset by the time. Wow. Or not. What? Or is it by the icons? I've never seen that. Oh, really? Yeah, it's offset by this icon for some reason. That's funny. Yeah, so that was the options screen, and then again you can always load back the default. The changelog, that is the last thing. I have a section on this, is special or kind of advanced stuff. Advanced section, so you can make a changelog automatically from everything that you have done. So let me just fold some of this stuff and maybe make some shopping list or whatever, right? And we have ABC, and I want to complete ABC. You see it automatically moves up. And now I can generate a changelog file based on all the things I've done. So if only B and C are done, I can press generate, and it will generate to the clipboard, or I can change to the terminal, which I think is this one. Yeah. It's printing some stuff, nice. And I can now generate to the terminal, and you'll see changelog, shopping list, B and C. So you could use this for MD files or any list like that. And then you can do Control-Z if you're not happy with the changelog. Change some of the settings. So we could change from star to be numbered. So I can do A, B, C, D, E, F. I could make cancelled. And then I could do generate, right, which is Alt X in this case, and that fails. Beautiful. Yeah, there's something about the changelog that I need to fix. It doesn't work twice for some reason. It's stupid. But yeah, bugs like this, please report them to the Todool Discord. But yeah, let's see. So for some reason it doesn't work right now, but you can change the settings about the changelog and the way it generates the little output. And then there's also options for whether you want to include the tasks with their folded children. So in case you don't want to include some of these, if they would be done, right, if some of these would be done, and if this would be folded, it wouldn't be taken with a changelog. Or if you want to include canceled or not to the changelog, or if you want to include the changelog title, and then you can generate to destinations like this. And this also has the whole options is saved to the changelog JSON. Yeah, in case anything crashes, also there's a log file. In this case, I think this was memory out of bounds, so that's not going to be logged. But if there's any errors that happen because I wanted them to happen, then they should show up in here. All right, so I think that's mostly it. I hope this video is probably long already. So one last thing here, we have this showcase. I didn't even show this in the beginning, but you can focus on regions, right? So if I want to focus on the keyboard movement, I can press Control F, that's mentioned in here, and I can focus on the keyboard movement tree only. And this will also be represented in the Kanban mode, right? So you can see that task went away because of the option, because it's empty. And now I can only see the things that only have children, right? And then you can press Control F again to go back. Or if you're in here, you can also go to its children. So that's pretty cool. And then you can also click the mouse to go, or click with the mouse to go back to the to that region. Right. So that's about it, guys. I hope this wasn't too much. There's also a few things I haven't mentioned yet. Control C prints to the terminal or to the clipboard as well. I'm not entirely sure. No, it doesn't. But right now it prints the tree to the terminal if you want it. Copy to clipboard. When no selection, well, it's not. I have to look at that, but usually it will copy the whole tree that you have currently selected like this. In case you want to send it over as raw text. Yeah, so this could work in other cases as well. And also if there is any events like saving, it's mentioned on the top left. So, yeah, that's about it, really. There's also imports, importing from to-do files. We can try that out real quick on my own files in here. So that's the source of Todool. And we can try importing this. If it crashes or not, I'll have to take a look at it. But yeah, we can drag a folder and it will take all the to-do or anything that mentioned to-do like this, right? It will get this, right? So, hey guys, right? So we could remove this and then drag the source over. I have to save this file, right? And then I can drag the source over and we should see, hey guys, right? So anything that mentions the /to-do, or I think I also have /note. Yeah, that gets saved in here, and then you could only use when you know what to do. Okay. But essentially, it's just a quick way to get from any text source file, get all the to-do and node stuff data. But this is still temporary, right? So I'm probably going to do some regex prompt or whatever in which you can just say, hey, I want these patterns, and then include them or search for them in all of these files. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Again, please support me on Patreon if you want. Or once Todool actually comes out, you can just buy it as well. And like I mentioned, you can join my Discord. Oh, that's probably not the best idea to show my Discord. Yeah. But that's about it, really. Follow me on Twitter to get progress updates. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.